What's up, everyone? This is Woodrow Dane Smith with my user experience research plan, getting ready for mini merge. Very exciting. So, without further ado, just going to catch you up. Last time I updated y'all was on the beta 75%, and since then, a lot has changed. So, let's get into it. So the table of contents for this presentation, pretty much what we're going to be talking about is all three of the betas, and then the user experience research plan that I have come up with and took me a very long time, but I'm very pleased with the results. So first, the beta 25%. I updated my agenda via a Google Sheet. I started recording the intro and the outro, and I landed on a very solid intro that goes, "Welcome back to Ag Chat, the podcast where we close the knowledge gap between the average consumer and the average producer by debunking common misconceptions of agriculture." Very big fan of that. Otter.ai, which has proven to be the MVP of this project time and time again. And then I started dipping my toes into editing audio. I'm still learning, but I like what I have so far. And then come the beta 50%, I have 2 episodes scheduled for Doctors Callaway and Kulang on ruminant microecology and organic sustainable plant production. I've been going through the transcriptions and otters, which I will show y'all in just a moment, and making sure that it records me right because sometimes it thinks I say act chat instead of ag chat. So it requires a little bit of lifting, but not a lot. And I started drafting the questions that I was going to ask Dr. Callaway and Dr. Coulong. But then whenever I got into the actual interview to record the episodes, I had to redraft the questions because I tried to keep it too heavy on the script side instead of the conversation side. So it didn't sound organic it didn't sound organic in the sense of a natural exchange of information. So with the beta 75%, I have the 2 episodes recorded, the design system overhaul, where I went in and completely gutted that and redid it so all my colors were a little more pleasing. My font was easier to read. It was very, very much needed. Shout out Liam, helped me way more than I deserved. And further recording review, which is going through otter.ai and making sure that all of them are in the right place because they're sorted on their dates. And then I take them out of Otter and put them into Audition to edit the actual episodes. And before we get into the user experience research plan, I'm going to share with y'all the toaster teaser trailer I have and the beginning of episode 1. So you can see right here, Otter is very useful with sorting and housing documents. That was definitely one of the things that helped me stay balanced with flying solo on my capstone project. This has been a lifesaver. So here's draft 1 of the teaser trailer.
Have you heard words like GMO, hormone, and all natural mentioned before when buying your food? Do you know what all of these terms mean? Want to learn about how your food gets from the farm to the table? Hi, my name is Dane Smith, and I'm an emerging media master's student at the University of Georgia. I graduated in May of 2020 with my bachelor's degree in agricultural communications. AgChat was the perfect opportunity for me to merge both of my passions, agriculture and media. AgChat is a podcast where we bridge the knowledge gap between the average consumer and the average producer by debunking common misconceptions of agriculture, as I bring on different professors of the University of Georgia's College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences in the University of Georgia's New Media Institute. AgChat gives voices to a farmer that would otherwise not have one. You can listen to AgChat on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. Leave a rating and a review. Be sure to check out our website, linked down below. And special thanks to the NMI for letting me use their podcast studio. Thank you.
So that was the trailer, draft one. I've definitely come a long way with my audio editing skills, but still a long way to go. And this is for episode 1, and just this part of it is what I was going to show y'all, because I ask a similar question to all of my guests. So what would you say the biggest misconception is in their particular field? And this is with Dr. Coulong, who is a professor of organic horticulture. And we had a lot of really good banter about defining organic, organically grown, USDA certified organic, and sustainability, and how people erroneously interchange and use all three of them together.
So in organically grown produce, what would you say the biggest misconception is?
I think the biggest misconception, at least from the consumer side of things, is that if it's organic, it automatically means that it is sustainable. And in many cases, that is true, but in other cases, I don't think that it would necessarily fit, most people's definition of sustainability.
And in what way have you seen that harm the consumer?
So, I mean, if you're a consumer and you are paying a price premium for this particular product with the idea that you are supporting this type of farming system, I think that could be harmful, because you are, potentially being misled about what you're supporting. Maybe it's not your small local farmer. It could be a huge 10,000 acre operation that doesn't care about what you care about, and so forth.
So that's what I have so far in the first episode. And I really enjoy how Otter highlights it as it reads it out to you. It allows you to go in and edit it if they get some of the words wrong. So that has definitely been the MVP of this project so far. And to get into the second half of my user experience research plan, the document. So some of my not really concerns, but my goals for this research is making sure that I can keep people interested, because if I am not careful, I will get lost on a tangent that sounds like rambling and not like something that anyone would want to listen to. I need to make sure that my goal is clearly understood, to be a voice for farmers that would otherwise not have one, and to put an end to common misconceptions of agriculture as much as I can. How can I be more effective as a podcast host was probably the most important point for my research goal, because I need to make sure that I'm doing that right, because I'm not the most experienced in this field, but I'm doing my best to learn. And is AgChat accessible to everyone? That's where Otter is coming in helpful again, because it like, even if somebody is impaired with their hearing, they can follow along and read just the same as anyone else could, and the transcripts make that a lot easier. And pretty much just find out any way any way AgChat can be improved upon, because like I said, I'm pleased with my progress. I think I've come a very long way, but I know that there's a lot to be done. So my methodology for all of this is going to start out using a system usability scale and a Likert scale to kind of gauge how how receptive I am as a podcast host. And what I mean by that is making sure that the tasks I have are easily understood, explaining some of the most surprising thing you've learned, two of the mediums that AgChat's available on, and recall a misconception that you heard about before listening. Name one thing that could have been done better. So these are some of the tasks that can be improved or that can be acted on and that can be judged using a system usability scale or a Likert scale. Likert scale. Oh, Lee is going to get me for that one. Google Forms is how I'm going to do the pre and the post test surveys with these two. And these are all of the questions. We have the differential semantic scale and the Likert scale with some open-ended and closed-ended question. And I went ahead and put, oh no. I went ahead and put a QR code for both of these links at the top. So even if this is printed out or not necessarily available on a computer, then somebody can pull their phone out and still be able to get to it, and I can still get the results of it. So I thought that was a very cool idea, and having all my questions right here so that if people don't want to pull their phones out and just want to see what's question 2 on this one, they can just look. So the roles are pretty much left up to me. I'm the sole member of AgChats. I'm working independently, which means I have a lot of irons in the fire. I'm responsible for the branding, the scheduling, the note taking, the interviewing. And luckily, Otter is, like I mentioned before, good at taking transcriptions in real time, or you can upload audio to it after the fact, making it very, very seamless and streamlined. And it's also going to help me with balancing, because I'm not sure I would be able to balance all of that if I had to transcribe everything that we said during the episodes. Otter also lets you schedule episodes and recording sessions, and it works with Google Calendar. So that's just another thing it does very well. The sampling I have evolved, or I've changed after reading the reviews that I've gotten on my past work, and the population of people I'm sampling is people that don't have any agricultural experience or background, but they want to learn about it, whether it be because of a food science perspective or sustainability perspective. And because agriculture is all of those things, even though people might not think of it that way. And my analysis of my findings, I'm going to use the Likert scale for the tasks that I've completed, which is fairly self-explanatory because here's all the steps for it, how whenever somebody fills this out, it is out of 100, but it's not a percentage. Surveys like the pre and post test Google Forms I have. The system usability scale, and some of the issues, because in categorizing major versus minor issues, I can use this usability severity decision tree to decide if it's critical, high, medium, or low priority. And I would deal with the low priority things later and the high priority things as soon as possible, because when it's critical or high priority, there's actual damage being done. And the results, the plan for my results is to be able to point out a correlation between the amount of feedback I get and how much better I'm becoming, or the improvements I'm making. So the more experience I'm gaining, the more seasoned I'm getting and the better I'm getting overall. So that's the correlation that I want to denote. I want to show that connection between the work I've done and the work that I can still improve upon. And I think that's a really important message. I like that a lot. Just being able to look at my work and say, well, this eventually led to this. It's not a causation, but just a correlation of being able to point at one thing and say that this helped influence or this is connected to this. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed my user experience research plan for AgChat, and listen in because I'm going to need people to scrutinize my episode to the last second. Thank y'all.